Welcome to Just CHOPSING podcast. And today we have Tina from the Forge Ahead initiative. Well, it's difficult to say without losing my teeth. But yeah, and obviously my co-host and cousin David. And Tina's here today to tell us a little bit about what the Forge Ahead initiative exactly is and what they do. And from what I gather, they bring through young bands, mentor young bands. So can you tell us about it, Tina?
Certainly. Thank you very much to both for having me on. It's great for me to be able to talk in this situation about the Forge Ahead initiative, which is very, very new. We were actually born in the time of COVID. It's been a most peculiar journey. I have been steering this part of the ship for about a year and 2 weeks, I think. And the Forge Ahead initiative is actually a mentorship branch of the overall umbrella organisation, which is the Forge Music Group, which is currently galloping along at a huge rate of knots and creating great waves in the rock industry. So it's huge excitement for me to be involved in this. And basically we have at the moment 9 what we call next generation bands, because let's face it, people like you and I, we've been around for a long time and we've supported the rock industry and we've grown up with it. But what happens when we've gone? If we've got rock musicians, they need an audience to go with them. So it's not just about the musicians, it's about bringing along the audience too, the peer audience. So we initially, I was invited to scout for 10 of what I considered to be the most promising young unsigned bands in England, Scotland and Wales. It had to be mainland UK, purely for logistical reasons. And we were looking at a sort of an age group as well, sort of average age no more than about 26, I think. So, and that's actually going to drop next time round. The idea is that we take our bands for a year. Obviously COVID got in the way, so the current cohort have extra time because they haven't been able to go out anywhere or do anything. And we try to raise their profile by introducing them and educating them with the help of industry professionals so that they don't get duped along the way. And it's a very exciting time.
Yeah, I can imagine. I mean, is there really much duping going on nowadays in the music industry? Because I mean, there's no money to be made anymore, and I can't. I mean, I had this conversation a few days ago with another band. I can't see why any band really is chasing a deal anymore when they can do a lot of it or most of it themselves, you know.
It depends what we're talking about, really. Particularly at this, like today, this moment in time, people are wanting bands to go out for nothing.
Yeah.
You know, and that certainly isn't going to happen. And we have a growing diary of some absolutely stunning opportunities for our bands, all of which are going to be paid for, because these are people with a talent and their talent should be recognized and they should be able to receive payment for what they do.
Yeah, but also on the downside to that, I mean, there's a lot of venues out there that don't really have a great budget, you know, to pay bands. I don't know how much you're talking about getting paid, but even if it's like 100 quid and all your drinks for the evening, obviously I think that's for a small music venue, that's probably pretty much the standard. But I can't see many venues asking them to play for free. I mean, there are some unscrupulous venues where you actually have to pay them, yes. Especially in London, you know.
Yes.
It's like, well, if you want to play, then you pay us.
Absolutely, and that's, I mean, that isn't the primary purpose of what we're doing, but it is part of part of what we do is making sure that the bands know what they can expect as a professional band, and how to go about getting what they want.
Yeah.
So we have the opportunity to have webinars. We've got some fantastic brand ambassadors who support us, and all sorts of wonderful things in and along the way. So it's opportunities that they probably wouldn't have otherwise.
Yeah, and it's like you said, it's knowing those contacts and introducing them to the right people as well, isn't it?
Yes.
A couple of the bands that we've interviewed, they've said, we might have, if we'd had it over again, we might have done it slightly differently, or we might have done it this route or whatever. So a couple of the guys have said that perhaps they wasted a little bit of time going down the wrong avenue, and then they found it eventually. But no, I think that's really good, because I know part of it as well is, like you said, you get them to go to festivals, which I attend. I'll be honest, they're only local festivals to me that I go to, but the exposure that bands get at festivals is excellent. So, I tend to go, and it's not the headliners I go for, if I'm completely honest. It's normally the guys that are lower down on the bill, and they're the ones that I'm following, because I tend to follow local bands.
Right.
So, and then when you're there, you get to hear other guys that you wouldn't necessarily normally come across. So, and then I end up following them. So, for example, one of the bands they're quite a young band. They're probably in their early 30s, from Swansea, called Buffalo Summer, and they played at the Steel House.
Yeah.
And then we watched them, I think it was 15 times the following year, because they're such a good band. Do you know what I mean? So, and for me, that's why I like those festivals, because I get to hear a lot of these up and coming bands. And do you know what? Most of the time, they're better than the guys that are headlining, to be fair, because they try that bit harder. They practice a lot more, and they sort of like, they're honing their craft, whereas perhaps some of the headline acts, they perhaps take it for granted a little bit, maybe, and they're not as well practiced sometimes.
Sure. Obviously festivals are particularly hard for us at the moment, because what we would hope to have been able to do this year, there's absolutely no way we could, because everybody's jumping in on what's left from rolling over from last year, and those that haven't happened this year will roll over to next year. So that has severely restricted what we'd hoped we could do in terms of accessing festivals. However, I will tell you that it hasn't stopped the fact that some of our bands will be appearing at some very big festivals next year. I can't tell you who, and I can't tell you where, but I can certainly tell you that if you go to some of the, I can certainly tell you why, but next year, some of the 9 bands that are with me at the moment will be on some very, very big stages indeed.
That's good.
And
yeah, that's good.
That's the whole idea, really, that we want to raise the profile. We don't tell anybody what they have to do. Everybody has a choice at every stage. It's about having information. It's about giving informed choices, instead of bands having to feel their way in the dark, because it's such a big field to have to try and find your way through.
Yeah.
And like Dave, you were saying about being at festivals and smaller festivals, you just don't know who's there. You don't know who's anywhere.
Yeah.
You can't let your guard down, because it could just be that particular day, someone in the crowd is the person that could change the direction of your band completely.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So it's just us giving a little bit of guidance and support, and putting some passion into what we love. It's so exciting.
That's good. So which bands are you supporting at the moment, and what sort of genres? Are they all rock music, or?
Right, they're all rock music. Initially, when I went to get the bands first, I had 2 more than I've got now. I've only ever had 10, as a maximum. But when one of them, something happened to one of them, we then got another one in. But what's happened is along the way, 2 of the bands that we've had already have already got record deals.
Okay.
And the idea is, being with us, they can come to us and say, look, this is what we've been offered. And we can say, well, you know, this is what, if this is what you want and this is how it looks, then you're free to go. There's nothing that binds people to stay with us. It's so that bands can come to us and ask, is it a good deal? Should we do it? And so far, we had a young band called Tortured Demon, who very, very young. They were 13, 14 and 15 when they came to us. And they got a Japanese record deal. They're thrash metal, and they're definitely a band you're going to come across before long. Fantastic, up in the Oldham area. And also a band called Nova Story, who have just got a record deal down in London. So now the remaining bands they're quite a mixture. They're all rock of some sort or another.
Okay.
But they don't necessarily play the same style of rock at all. So, for example, we have Stellaris, who are a very individual band from West Yorkshire. 5 young lads in their early 20s, exceedingly talented. And to see them coming out on stage, you would have no idea of the impact that they would have the second the music starts. We were in a recording session, in a video recording session, at a time when that was possible, and there were people in the room, and the surprise was audible all the way around the room. I can't tell you what people were saying because I said I was going to behave myself.
Fucking hell, look at these guys.
But that's the impression they gave, all right?
They're a bit prog rock or not?
Yes, they are, sort of. Well,
yeah.
They wouldn't like us to call them prog, but they're harder rock, and they're going towards, they're in a time of change, because they've played together for a long time, but not as Stellaris, and they haven't played live as Stellaris at all yet. They have been a covers band for years as friends, and they've started writing their own music, which is astonishing. And so they're very heavy, and very, very individual, but fantastic guys. So they're from West Yorkshire. Then we've got Madhaven, and it's interesting because we have in more than one band brothers, and we have in Madhaven, we have Alex and Tom, who are brothers, and then their mate Morgan. They're from the North Welsh coast, and they're very much new wave of classic rock. They had a bit of a following before they came to us, so everybody that we've got is at different levels, and we're not trying to get them all to the same level. We're trying to help them develop from the level that they started with. The boys are just about to go out on tour with Haxon.
Oh, cool.
Well, you must know Haxon, Dave. I expect, all-female band from down your way. They're supporting Haxon on tour. Plus, one of our other bands that I'll talk about in a minute is also popping in on tour with them in Manchester for a single gig as well.
Okay, cool.
I'm trying to work through. Right, so then we go up to Scotland. We go up to the west coast of Scotland, and we've got a grunge band. And, grunge certainly isn't dead. No. My goodness me. These, again, 3 young chaps, and they have a real cool, laid-back grunge style. They're called Royal Bloom, and they're coming down. In fact, they're coming down to play with Stellaris fairly soon. Can't remember the date exactly, but if grunge is your thing, they're worth having a listen. Then we go to 28 Double. 28 Double are from Derby, and a really good mature rock band. They're at the older end of the cohort that we've got.
So they're touching 26.
And a little bit more because it's average age 20.
Oh, right, okay, it's average age. Okay.
But they've got a little bit of experience. They actually won Metal to the Masses or Battle of the Bands. They're going to tell me off whichever I get wrong. And they played Bloodstock a couple of years back.
Okay.
They and they play my kind of rock. They're sort of really quite powerful driven rock from Derby. Great. 28 Double. These days we only have one lady in a mid-star cohort, and I would very much be interested in addressing that. It certainly wasn't intentional when we got the bands together before, but that's how it worked out. And that lady is Lydia, and my goodness me, Lydia is the powerhouse voice behind Thieves of Liberty from Newcastle. Sunderland. Oh,
Mackhams, are they? Mackhams. Oh,
yeah.
we just lost a load of followers then.
Behave now then. But they play all the bands are original bands.
Yeah.
They can all play some fantastic covers, but we have them for their original work. And Thieves of Liberty, very rocky, and would, you know, they're already at the stage of being a great support band. They won a competition, and now I'm going to get told up again because I can't remember which it was. Fireball, something to do with Fireball, and they won a tour with Less Than Jake.
Okay.
So
wasn't a drinking competition, was it?
It wasn't a drinking competition.
A drinking Fireball.
It was but it was sponsored by Fireball.
Okay.
Fireball.
Yeah.
And in fact, I'm in the Midlands, and next week I'm going up to Newcastle. They're playing in Trillions next week, and they're playing the Stormbreakers, one of the Stormbreakers competitions, with the chance to being able to win a place at
Winterfest. Winterfest.
Yeah.
There's loads of people entering that, isn't there?
Well, they've narrowed it down.
Oh, have they?
Oh yes. There's only four or five bands playing at each venue now. There's 4 venues throughout the country. 2 have had to be done virtually.
Yeah.
But we've got Thieves of Liberty at Trillions. We've actually got one in the Scottish bands up at the Dreadnought in Bathgate as well, which I'll tell you about in a while. So Thieves of Liberty are up there, and fantastic powerhouse band, really, really exciting, energetic, and great fun. Great fun, really good. So I'm talking a lot. Do you want to ask me anything before I go on?
Oh, keep going.
Yeah, just run through the bands and then I'm going to ask you a question.
Right, okay. So following Thieves of Liberty, we go down to Chelmsford for Mercury Rising. Great band, again, slightly towards the more mature end.
Bit of rock blues.
Yes, they've got a slightly more blues tinge to them. They don't concentrate on blues, but there's definitely a blues edge to them. And they're changing their style slightly to have a bit more blues, and it really suits them. And we're getting them. They're going up to the West Midlands very soon to support Flash, a Queen tribute up at the Robin. And I think that's going to be their first big day out after all this, so that's going to be a really cool day for them. Then we've got Backwards Creek, and Backwards Creek are different to everybody in as much as they're country rockers. Now, before we started this, if anyone had said country rock to me, I just wouldn't have given it the time of day. But I absolutely adore these guys. They are stunning. I would urge anybody to look at their YouTube channel, particularly what they did during lockdown, where they did Creek Cave sessions, where they took some absolutely classic songs, such as Wayward Son, for example. They also did School of Rock, and they remotely recorded all these songs, and they are incredibly entertaining, and they have harmonies to die for.
Yeah, I've listened to them as well. They're quite good.
They are good. They've got a new single out on Thursday. I might as well plug it while I'm here.
Yeah.
I know it'll probably be gone by the time you air this, but on the 16th of July, Mama's Prayers is the new single from
Wayward's Creek.
Backwards
Creek.
Yeah, Backwards Creek. And then the last two are guys that came in after we said goodbye to the other two. So we've got Unknown Refuge. Now, Unknown Refuge come up from Bolton, and they have, I don't know whether you've actually come across it this year, but they've produced their debut album, which has been absolutely lauded all over the place. In the recent new wave of classic rock poll for albums of the first 6 months of the top 40, they were 7th.
Okay.
Which you know, for a debut album, that's pretty damn good.
Yeah,
For a band that I think average age 20.
Okay, well, that's really good.
And it's unspoken for the fans as well, isn't it? So that's really important as well.
Yes,
So,
absolutely. And you know, they definitely will deliver great songs. And Alex, their frontman, who tends to do their writing, he's quite inspired by all things mythical, Lord of the Rings style and whatever. And so his lyrics are really quite interesting. And the album is almost a concept album. And it's, you know, I was just blown away by the quality of what was produced by such young people. Stunning work. And then finally, going back to Scotland again, Bad Actress. Now, Bad Actress are just about to start on a tour, a mini tour. They, again, are very young, 3 brothers this time.
okay.
Yeah.
You imagine that house, can't you?
Yeah.
And they live out in the Highlands, which is probably just as well, I suppose, if you've got 3 boys playing that sort of music. Fabulous band. And they are, again, very, very different. They're grunge, sleaze, playing music almost of my teenage years.
Yeah, very hair rock.
Absolutely. And they are the other band that is in the running for the Winterfest show. So, but they're coming all the way down. They've got half a dozen dates, I think, 3 in Scotland, and then they've got 3 down in the Midlands with me, Chesterfield, Sheffield and Nottingham at the end of July, beginning of August. Very, very exciting band to watch too. I saw them live for the first time, because of course I haven't actually met most of these people because of COVID. But I saw them for the first time at a very small festival we did at Forge and Fire Productions Promotions in the Lake District. It was less than 100 people, and it was a fantastic little tiny festival. And these young lads just absolutely blew the socks off everybody. They are very, very, very exciting to watch. So we've got, you know, you asked, I've told you, completely different set of guys, but talent like you wouldn't believe.
Yeah, I watched some of that Bad Actress video, to be honest, and I was looking at them, I was thinking, fucking hell, they're young. They must be about, the one guy looks about 14, I think.
Well,
the bass player, is it?
The drummer is Lewis is 19, I think, and his brother Chick with the long blonde
Yeah,
hair
yeah, Chick,
is
yeah.
20,
Yeah.
and the singer is their brother Vinny. He's
Okay.
21. So
Yeah.
you know, all very close in age.
Yeah, but I think it's the bass player. He looks really young. He's like,
I think he's probably the oldest of all of them. I don't
is he?
know.
He
He's
looks
tiny.
he looks like a little kid.
Oh, Alex, no, Alex is definitely the oldest.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah.
Because I've spoken to a couple of them guys. I've spoken to Chick on Facebook Messenger because they're going to be the first band that we have on
Fantastic.
from Forge Initiative. But what I want to ask you is, how did you pick all these bands then? Did you have a competition, or
No.
how did you
No.
pick them? And how did you come across them even?
Different scenarios in almost every case. John Craig, who is the managing director of the Forge Music Group, he tasked me with going to find them.
Okay.
At a time when I couldn't leave home.
Yeah.
You know, so it was interesting, but I had somewhere to start, because up until then, because I'm a retired school teacher, so I've been leisurely laying about for quite a while, but I take rock photographs, and I also had been doing reviews and the like. So, for example, bands like Nova's Story, I'd reviewed for them, and Thieves of Liberty were one of the first bands I ever photographed 3 years ago.
Okay.
So I had somewhere to start. I'd set the criteria that we had, hard and fast criteria that we had to work with in terms of what we might get in, if we might get funding or whatever. So the age was one criteria. The fact that they were unsigned was another. Mainland England, mainland UK was another. And I wanted potential for excellence across the board. And that's really what drove me to select the bands I did. And in most cases, I found them myself. John had already, he knew Stellaris, Royal Bloom and Madhaven, because he had been planning Forge Ahead Initiative before he knew me. And so he'd sort of got these guys in his sight. So he'd said, these will start you off, add to them. And so that's what I did. And I scoured the internet, and I listened to people, and I talked to people. And that's how I came up with the bands I did. And I am extremely proud of the decisions I made.
Okay, because what is the Forge Music Group exactly? Because it's not a record company, is it?
No, it isn't. Forge Music Group, again, is new.
Okay.
It's not 2 years old yet. John Craig, my boss, is like me. He's a passionate person about rock music, and he had been in the services, and he had decided, having been a musician himself, having been a rock musician and the likes, that he wanted to help bands, and he had been doing a bit of promotion beforehand, and I don't quite know what had pushed him towards developing the Forge Music Group, but the idea of the Forge is the fact that John was actually a blacksmith when he was in the services.
Okay, yeah.
So everything Forge is to do comes from that. But
Okay.
we have three strands, really. We have a management services, which John looks after. We also have Forged in Fire Productions. Sorry, I keep saying production, I mean promotions, Forged in Fire Promotions, which is a vehicle for getting our bands out, and other bands that may not necessarily want to sign to us, but that we like and think fit with our bands. So if you look at my posts, for example, you'll see at the moment we're going absolutely mad because we can get out at last, and so we're getting 3 and 4 bands together, getting them out. And I've so far been to 2 events that we've done, and people have left open-mouthed at the quality of what we've got. You know, we've got in Forge Amp, which is John's management services. We've got bands like Gallows Circus, Circus 66, Suicide Notes, some incredibly cool bands from your area, Dave, Jamie Porter band. You know, we've got so much talent, and so John and I are driving this as much as we can, and it seems to be working.
Yeah, I've come across Gallows Circus.
Yeah.
A couple of weeks ago. Yeah. I actually tried to get them on the show, but I don't think I got any response. But I'm not really 100% sure on that. I can't say for definite.
I might be able to help you if you know.
Yeah, I was just thinking. I mean, if you've got all these bands signed to your management company, then not only will we put the young bands on, but we can also put the signed bands on.
Yes, of course you can. You know, once we get one, it will tumble over. So you know.
Yeah.
Once you've talked to my guys, then you know, just let me know and I'll make sure you get.
Yeah. We've already got. I've got a couple lined up now. So I've got Bad Actress lined up, and what was the other one I've got lined up? I've got another one lined up as well after that.
Good.
But we're pretty packed at the moment till the end of the month, to be honest. But
it's great. It's good to be busy, isn't it?
It is. Yeah, we are pretty busy. Yeah.
That's right. I've definitely come across Unknown Refuge before.
Yeah, it sounds like a good name for a punk band, really. But
yeah,
you couldn't be further.
No, I know.
I have come across them.
Yeah, what did you think?
Yeah, they're good, really good. Actually, I did like them. So,
again, very young, average age about 20, 21. Incredible talent, you know. And I suppose I bring to this the fact that all the way through my teaching career, because I taught secondary school, I was looking for talent in every way possible, not just in academics. And so this for me is fantastic.
Yeah.
And the fact is that one of the Forge bands that's under John, they are two of them, two of the band Pretty Babs. One was in my tutorial at school, and one got thrown out of his English classes every year, every week during his GCSEs, and had to come and sit with me.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
you know, so it's just fabulous. It's a fantastic opportunity. And we're putting everything we've got into the bands we've got at the moment, because it's been very difficult. Obviously it's been very limited for us to have much input. You know, we've been able to help in terms of what do you release, when, and so on and so forth, and promotions and various background stuff. But now is the time for us. So we're now working with these guys up until the end of next May. And at the end of next May, we will have a fantastic festival down at the Patriot in Crumlin.
See, it is Crumlin.
Yeah.
Well, that one is, yeah. But you've got a Patriot up where you are somewhere, I believe.
Well, this is a Patriot in Crumlin, and all our bands will be there. All my bands will be there. And it will sort of be like almost a graduation, if you like, their grand farewell from us before they move on. And by that time, we'll already have a new cohort in. Yeah,
and I was going to say, you must be already, you know, even though you're keeping an eye on these guys, you must already have one eye on the next lot coming in.
I might have.
Yeah, well, it makes sense. If you haven't, then you're going to miss the boat,
telling.
I think. No, I'm not going to ask you who they are, you know.
All right, I'm not going to tell.
But yeah, I mean, you need to be prepared. So
absolutely. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's a great initiative, to be honest. I mean, you know, it's a shame that you can only take 10 bands.
Well, you know, there's only John and me.
Yeah.
You know, we have one or two people that work with us in different capacities, in terms of maybe promotions, in terms of photographic work, artwork, and videography and that sort of thing. But in terms of hands-on band stuff, it's John and then it's me. So we're quite limited. And to be honest, it's quite a lot.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I don't mean there's only. Don't mean it's a pity that you can only. I mean, it's just a pity that a lot more bands can't come to you for the same sort of advice and stuff.
Sure. But if things go the way we want it to, down the line, the Forge Ahead initiative will develop an education arm.
Okay.
That's what we ideally. We can't say for certain at the minute because who knows. But long term, that's really what we'd like to be able to do. We'd like to be able to go into schools and have the bands that we've got, some of their musicians being able to go into schools to be inspirational for younger people and so on and so forth.
Yeah, I would love that, but I've had more than a rant, I think, about the schooling system of being so antiquated on the show before.
I could keep you going forever on that.
Oh, it's a nightmare. And to actually put a band in a school and have a lot of young kids then turn around and want to be rock stars just to be told by their teachers that they need to get a proper job when they leave school, it's I don't think that's a good idea.
Well, it's interesting, isn't it? Because all I ever wanted to do was be a classroom teacher. All I ever wanted to do. But there came a time when money was being put into what they call gifted and talented. And for some reason, I decided I really needed to do that. I don't know why. My heart was in it. And I got the job. And every summer, I did a summer school. And I did some unbelievable things I took cross-faced children from the age of 8 to 13. And they were pupils that had ability in the area that I was looking at for the summer schools, for example. And the final one I did was a rock school. One of our dads is, I'm not going to say his name, but he still is, a very famous session player. And he's been all over the world. He's supported some of the biggest names possible. And he was able to put together a package for me. And for the week, my 25 or 30 youngsters, they had that caliber of musician working with them. They had a songwriter, they had a videographer, and we had a green screen, and all sorts of things. It's possible. It's hard. It's just very, very hard.
Yeah. I was just going to say, for a summer school idea, I think it's pretty good,
Yeah, it's hard. It's very hard.
It's like School of Rock, isn't it? It's like, in the summer.
Absolutely.
It's a good idea.
I would have loved for some bands to have come into school when I was in school. We never really had that opportunity. We did have kind of like maybe sportsmen coming in and having a chat. Do you know what I mean? So we certainly had that in comprehensive school, but never any musicians or.
There's no difference, is it?
No,
it's no different to getting the sportsman in.
No different at all. So
but you went to Lantanen, Dave. I mean, we did music in Fairwater.
Yeah, we because we had our sports. I guess our sports teachers were, they were ex-cricketers and ex-football players, and they had played for Newport County and things like that. So that's probably how they managed to get people in, I guess.
Right.
Hey, pussies. We had rugby players for our teachers.
Now then, boys, behave.
Players and football players. Flip it heck.
Cobner was there before me. He was an ex-rugby player, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was in our school. He used to get kicked out everywhere, I think.
Yeah, so.
Allegedly.
But no, to have, because I was saying, I think I've said on previous podcasts that like music was never encouraged really for me when I was in school. Do you know what I mean? And I said to Terry, didn't I? It was always kind of like you had a certain brand of child that did art and did music. Do you know what I mean? And then everybody else did all the mainstream stuff and all the sciences and all that. And it's kind of like years later where I wish I'd been encouraged to have done music, because, when I'm trying to learn guitar now, I think at my age, I'm way too old to be learning it. But if I'd learned it at 12 and started learning it, do you know what I mean? It's a lot easier. And like you said, you get an education. So and you get
You're
inspired.
never too old though, Dave. Never too old.
No, I know.
I am.
Too busy maybe, but not too
It's
old.
just not working.
Yeah.
It's hard work, man. Like I said, I think your head's too full of stuff as you get older, and
Yeah, nonsense. My head's full of.
and mine too.
But yeah, I just jotted down the festival that you said about in the Patriot.
Yes.
That's in May next year, yeah.
Yes, it is. It will be May Bank Holiday weekend next year.
Okay. Oh,
I haven't got it confirmed, but it's possibly going to be branded the Ascension Festival,
okay.
but I haven't got that confirmed as yet.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll just keep my eyes open, and then I'll look for the bands on there as well.
Oh yes, please.
David will be there with his microphone.
Yeah, that's it. I said I'm a massive supporter of local venues and local bands, because it does frustrate me sometimes that a lot of these original artists don't get the support from the fans like cover bands do. And we were talking about that before, Terry, weren't we? Because, a lot of people would rather go and listen to somebody mess up AC/DC or Guns N' Roses rather than hearing people singing original music. And I don't know why. I don't get it. I don't quite understand it. So, for me, original music is far better. And you can, because I'm learning guitar, I can appreciate how good these guys are as well, when they're on stage playing. And then, like you said, with the songwriting, I wouldn't have a clue where to start. So yeah, it's good.
Well, thank you. That's a really healthy attitude, and it's great to hear because we don't hear it so often. And as you say, it's the classic. Do you play Wonderwall?
Yeah. That's.
I know.
Every numpty asks that, don't they?
Yeah, that's it. Do you help the guys with merch as well? Because a lot of people that we speak to, I know a lot of bands make some revenue out of merchandise. Is that something you can help them with and put them in contact with?
Yes, definitely. All aspects. The idea is we try and cover as far as we can all aspects of the business. We've got so many people on board from so many different areas. Obviously, we've got some fantastic big names. We have people like Pete K. Malley, for example, who does all the comparing at the big festivals. And so he's very well connected, very well known. And he comes and does a great deal of work for us. And he's really good. Obviously, he's a teacher as well, so he's great at inspiring people. We have the lovely Stella, who is a fantastic music journalist, again with great connections, and certainly some of the things that are happening for her hopefully are going to be extremely useful to us.
Yeah, and she's going into TV, I think.
Yes.
I've seen something recently about making a TV program or a radio program or something, and
television. Yeah. In about November time, I think it's going to be recorded, a pilot. Okay. See how it goes from there. We're all interacting and all involved in all sorts of things along the way. We have Rebecca Downs, fantastic blues singer. We have Ryan Anthony from Riders Creed. Loads and loads of great names. Stevie Westwood from Bad Touch. Bless his heart, he did a fantastic little cameo for Thieves of Liberty during lockdown. They were doing a collaboration, and they'd done their own arrangement of Get the Funk Out, and they'd got in touch with me and said, did I know anyone who might be able to play various instruments and whatever? And I managed to find them who they wanted. And I said, have we got anybody else? And they said, we'd love Stevie Westwood. And I said, well, let's see. And bless him, he did an amazing job. He said, oh my God, he said, it's my favorite jam. He said, I'd be happy to do it. And if you look at Thieves of Liberty, Get the Funk Out, you'll see Stevie along with all the others in his little box, absolutely doing his thing and just loving it. And with that sort of support, how lucky are we?
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, yeah. Well, you named two really good bands there, you know, and they've played on big stages as well, you know. So I've seen Bad Touch up at Steelhouse Festival,
Yes.
and Riders Creed were up there as well, and I've seen Riders Creed supporting, I think it was Toesland, maybe in 2019. So they're doing good things as well. And Ryan's a great guy. Yeah, he's a really
Yes, he is.
yeah.
Lovely.
And Dave, you're friends with Pete.
Yeah, we know Pete.
Everyone's friends with Pete.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, we've had Pete on the show.
yeah. He's a great guy, Pete.
He is. He's smashing.
Yeah, and that's, you know, Pete did say that. Mind on his, when he came on, he said how as a comp here, he sees how all of these bands interact with each other, and you know I don't know what the terminology is, but obviously you've got the high billing bands and the lower billing bands, or however, whatever terminology you use. But he said you see these guys interacting with each other and helping each other, you know, carrying each other's equipment. He said that doesn't see this, with the exception of maybe one or two bands that he's come across, there's never any airs and graces, and there's never any kind of like egos backstage, which is great, you know. So, you know, these young bands that you guys are representing, you know, they should, when they start getting into these festivals, they're going to have access to people like this, which, you know, and like you said, it'll be inspirational for them, and, you know, they can talk to them after the show, you know, understand what sort of journeys they've been along. It's yeah, it's really good. It is good.
Yeah, it is. And, you know, these people are already out there and working on our behalf. You know, we've Thieves of Liberty, for example, are going down to London, and I can't tell you who they're going to support now. I know who I want to say, but I might get it wrong, so I don't want to offend anybody.
Oasis is not coming back, are they?
Pardon?
I said Oasis are not coming back, are they?
No, but we've got bands interacting with oh dear, Ashen Reach, and oh, really big at the minute. I can't remember, but we, you know, big newish names are bringing our bands along and involving them and having them on support and that sort of thing, and it's just fantastic. You know, it really is. It's people saying, we know what that was like, we've been there, you know, and
Yeah,
that's just fabulous.
yeah. Well, everybody starts somewhere, you know.
Well, they do, and the beauty of what we do doesn't cost anybody. It doesn't cost the bands a penny.
Okay.
It's completely not for profit. You know, they don't pay anything, and
That's you. Yeah.
you know, so it all comes to them for free, and that's valuable.
Yeah.
Have you struggled with funding and during the pandemic?
Well, I'll be honest with you, that's John's baby.
Ah,
So I
okay.
can't really talk about it very much.
Okay.
You know, I'm very much hands-on with the young bands, and anything in terms of administration and that sort of thing is, you know, and I'm very grateful actually. That's John's baby, and that makes me very happy. I do the nice bits.
Yeah. It keeps you stress free.
Yeah.
Well, unless a band falls out and has an argument.
They're
Splits
people,
up.
aren't they?
Yeah.
You know,
So I mean, we've had Nova Story on as well a few weeks ago.
they're great fun.
Yeah, they're a bit hectic, non-stop at the time. I mean, we actually recorded 2 interviews, because the first time we recorded with Ducky
with
and
Chris.
Ducky and the
Imogen.
guitar player. What's the guitar player's name?
Ben.
Ben, yeah.
Yes, it was Ben, yeah.
And it was a bit of a logistical nightmare actually, because it was the same day as their new single came out, Bad Tattoo.
Right.
So they were a bit all over the place. And
Yeah.
then a few weeks later, we actually recorded with the whole band.
Yeah.
Right.
But I'd just been diagnosed with COVID, so I wasn't feeling too great either. And but yeah, they were okay. Actually, they were good people. And
yeah, Imogen was very good, wasn't she? She was, She was kind of like, you could tell she was the spokesperson really for the band.
She's stunning.
Yeah.
She's stunning, and they, you know, they will make their way. There's no doubt about it. And it's lovely to think that, you know, these people have touched our lives for a little while and got moved on. And that's the whole idea. We want to be able to move our bands on from where they were to where they might be. It
Yeah.
may not be where they really want to go, but it will be on the way.
Yeah,
Giving them a helping hand. That's the thing.
Well, did they come to you with to show you the deal that was offered by Regent Street then?
They told us that it had been put to them.
Okay.
And yeah. I mean, everything is open all the way. You know, there's nothing hidden from anybody. You know, and we encourage the bands also, so that from that very point of view, if any of the bands are made an offer, they can feel comfortable enough to come to us and not feel that we're going to put them off. You know, we're just going to listen to them and talk it through. Because they make the decisions.
Yeah, we spoke to another young band a few days ago called Survive in December, and they've also just signed to Regent Street, and it sounds a little bit similar to what you guys are doing to me. It doesn't really sound like a record deal, but it sounds more like a development deal.
Okay. I don't know that name.
Yeah, no, they'd never heard of you. They're from, where were they from, Dave?
I can't remember now.
But I didn't really crack into the nuts and bolts of the deal. I mean, obviously this label's not throwing any money around. And to me, it just seems like it's a bit more of a development deal. And it struck me as because I asked them if they'd heard of you guys, and they were like, oh no, we've never heard of them. And I thought it might have been a good idea for you to get in touch with you, Tina, and see if they could pick your brain a little bit, you know.
Well, people do.
Yeah.
You know, I don't mind at all.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm not sure what's going on. I mean, Nova Story were quite excited about it. Signing to Regent Street, they said it was a really ethical company and blah blah blah. I mean, all right.
It suited what they wanted.
Yeah. So that's what I said. But it seems a bit more like a development deal rather than a record deal, to be honest.
Yeah, I wouldn't like to say really.
No, I wouldn't.
Things are really moving for Nova Story, and they will. They will just go from strength to strength. And if it means that they move from one place to another to get to where they want, you know, they will, because they're that sort of band. Yeah.
I mean, what was his name, Dave? That Ducky guy, James?
Yeah, James.
Yeah. I mean, he's the original band member, isn't he?
That's right. Yeah.
I think he is probably the driving force behind everything, to be honest. You've got Imogen as a spokesperson, but I think James is.
James and Imogen are engaged to be married.
I know. Yeah.
To be reckoned with.
Yeah. Because they've just built the studio and
amazing place.
Yeah, have you been there or?
No, because again,
because of COVID.
All COVID, it's all been done. You know, they didn't finish till I don't know what point, but it was certainly during COVID. You know, so much hasn't happened yet because of COVID.
I know.
It sure as hell will. It sure as hell will.
Yeah.
You know, we are motoring in the Forge Ahead initiative and the Forge Music Group as a whole. We are, you know, I've been out, as I said to you, I've been to 2 different events, and the amount of people that have said, oh, hello, Tina. Yeah, I know you, blah, blah, blah. And I'm thinking, okay, I don't know you. And they say, but we know you.
Yeah.
And I think it's just that our brand has an appeal.
Yeah.
We are very open and very honest. We don't stand for any rubbish. And, you know, people know what they're going to get if they come to Forge.
Yeah. I used to get that a lot. People used to say that to me a lot. I know you.
Well,
I know who you are. And I was like, I've got a clue who you are. I mean, so much so, I was walking through Chinatown one day in San Francisco, and 2 people actually came running up to me, and they were like, we know you. You're so-and-so's friend. And I was like, yeah. Totally random. I was like, my mate turned around to me. He's like, fucking hell, you know people everywhere. Well, I don't know them, but they know me.
It's unusual because having been a teacher, my family always say, "Oh, you know everybody,"
Yeah.
and I still know. I'm still in contact with people I taught nearly 40 years ago, and I do know people. But this is because it's a completely different playing field, isn't it? It's all virtual at the minute. And so people have a virtual presence and they see your virtual presence. So they think they know you.
Yeah.
So
That's true,
when I was at this little tiny festival the other week, 2 people on 2 different occasions came and said, "Hello, Tina. It's really nice to meet you in person at last," and I'm not used to being lost for words when someone comes to me because I usually know who it is, and I was completely befuddled.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm the same man, Mike. Who are you? I'm awfully sorry, but I don't know who you are. But it does happen.
It's fun, from a very personal point of view. I have to tell you, I'm having the best retirement anyone could wish for. It's been my sanity during COVID. There's no doubt about it, because it's given me a focus, and it's given me a focus for something that I love and have a passion for. And it's just meant that I can continue to help people, I guess, like I've always done. And so I love it.
Yeah,
that's great.
It's really good. Really good initiative. It's great.
Thank you. Thank you.
Really good.
That's great.
All right. Well, I've got a story, but I don't know if you want to stay on for it, Tina.
I'm here. Yeah.
All right. Well, we went into a bit of a ghost story yesterday.
You did, yeah.
But I've got a different sort of story to tell.
Okay,
I was just reading it on the thing. Well, there's this woman called Abby Bella, and she got pretty bored in the pandemic, and she got fed up with like dating online or whatever. Obviously, she couldn't go out of the house, so she started to imagine that she could, if she could, she would like to date an alien. And I don't mean somebody from China. I mean a proper alien,
An extraterrestrial.
Yeah. Lucky you said that right, Dave.
Yeah.
So she started going to bed at night, and she started dreaming about dating aliens, and before she knew it, she said she had a voice come to her in the night, and she said, meet me at the usual place, and then we might have a date. So she went back to sleep, and then a couple of days later, it's obviously in her fucking dreams, isn't it? Because she went back to sleep again, and she met this guy. Or actually, she was an alien. He was an alien in her dreams. It must have been, because this was her usual place. But then before she knew it, they came in a flying saucer over her house, and they took her away in a flying saucer. Right. So now she's up in a flying saucer with these aliens, and she's obviously decided she's going to get a crush on one of them, but she can't actually see them because they're sort of like in a hazy background, because they said, well, we're not allowed to show you ourselves because we might scare you too much. So she's like, oh, okay, I know. But anyway, she went and she fell in love with one of them, and one of them fell in love with her. But in this alien spaceship, the alien told her it's really taboo for me to fall in love with you because we're not allowed to fall in love with humans. But because you're so beautiful, and on this occasion, I'll forget about the rules and we'll have a relationship. And then she thought, okay, well, I'm in this alien spaceship. Do I really want to be stuck in an alien spaceship for the rest of my life, or do I want to go back to Earth? So after 20 minutes, she decided she wanted to go home.
So how much prescription medication was she on then?
I don't know, maybe she had a fever on the COVID, I don't know.
I was going to say, it sounds a bit like cross between Back to the Future and Earth Girls Are Easy with Jeff Goldblum on it.
So yeah, there's some wacky people out there, and it's just like
Well, I never.
So she said that making love with aliens was out of this world,
Oh dear. Oh dear. So predictable. So predictable.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know. These people
You're
make it
obviously
up.
feeling better now, Terry.
Yeah, yeah, I am. Yeah. Luckily, I mean, I'm
Yeah,
doing
you-
physio twice a week,
Yeah.
but I do my physio now. Yeah, because I like lost all the strength in my legs, and yeah, it's a funny illness, and it affects you all different ways. And obviously, I had a problem with chest for a while. But that's cleared up. But the last few days, my cough has been coming back. But I think that maybe because I'm getting a bit more tired because I've started back to work
Right.
for a few hours every other day. And yeah, but I think that I just lost all the strength in my legs, and now I've got to have physio on my legs and for my legs. So now they're building me up. I have to walk. I walk a little bit extra, and today I like walk for 20 minutes, 4 sets of 5 minutes, because I go dizzy all the time. So if I walk for like 6 or 7 minutes, I start getting dizzy, and then it's like, whoa. So I did 4 sets of 5 minutes, and then I had to go on the leg press, and I did 3 sets of 15 reps with a measly 45 kilos. And then when I came home, I was so exhausted. I was like, oh, I need to have a lie down, you know. But we're getting there slowly, so it's building up and building up. I mean, I started on 30 kilos or something, so
That's not bad then.
it's going better. I mean, it's a bit, for me, it's really depressing because I used to do bodybuilding, and I used to move a lot of weight, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, now I'm like a fucking newborn, and by the time I finish, I'm like Bambi on ice. So it's like, so yeah, it's a bit of a nightmare.
Because he was my big cousin when we were growing up, and if anyone would pick on me, I used to send Terry to go and duff him up. I was gonna have to be the other way around until he gets himself back to normal.
Fantastic.
No, I'm hiding behind my keyboard.
That's the sort of relative you want. Brilliant. Brilliant.
Yeah, it just gets a bit frustrating. I mean, the last time I was there, Thursday or Friday, I was so down on myself, you know. And my physio was like, well, it's just going to take time, you know. I mean, some people never ever recover, and I was like, don't say that, you know. It's like, but yeah, I mean, generally I feel okay, but I just get tired really quickly, and like I said, I keep going dizzy all the time.
Sure.
After 10 minutes or so, and then it's like, oh, that I just need to lie down. But
we've had in the UK with the jabs.
Yeah, well, I'm booked in now for my vaccination next week on Wednesday. So
you've not had your vaccination yet?
No, I was due to get it.
Right.
And my girlfriend was due to get it on the Wednesday before I caught COVID, because I caught COVID from work, I believe, allegedly, I must say, because there was like over 200 cases in work. And I complained about it to my boss as the cases were rising, and he kept fobbing me off, saying, oh, they're going out on the weekend and then they're coming back. Well, he couldn't go out because nothing was open, you know. And he was saying, oh, no, they're going out on the weekend and then they're coming back with COVID and spread it in work. So, yeah, it was just a messed up situation. And then I caught it, and then I phoned my work, and I said to my boss, look, I've caught it in work because we are really safe, because my girlfriend's got diabetes and stuff. I said, we keep ourselves really, really safe. And my girlfriend hasn't got it. So where did I get it from? And then he had to make a report then. So yeah, it's just messed up. But it's going the wrong way again over here now.
Right.
They've started introducing, I think I spoke about it on another show the other day, they've started introducing tighter restrictions in cafes and bars.
Okay.
Now they've got to shut at 12 o'clock again. Social distancing has come back in.
Really?
The way it's going is going to be, Germany and France are just starting to tighten up as well.
But
I saw on the news today.
But you're not as far down the road as we are with the vaccination programs, are you?
We are, yeah. In Holland, we are.
You are?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, we are. And what was I going to say? Oh, yeah, I spoke to David about this off air, actually. It came on the news yesterday morning when I took my daughter to school, that a woman in Belgium died from COVID over the last few days, and they did an autopsy and they found 2 different variants in her bloodstream.
Oh, crikey.
So, I mean, that doesn't bode well in my eyes. If you've
No.
got two different variants completely attacking you, there's no hope. So,
Well, we have to have hope, don't we? We can't not have hope.
no, I know we have hope. I'm really grateful that I got through it okay, and my girlfriend got through it okay. But my girlfriend, we think she had it last year in February when
Right.
there was no testing. I mean, it
Yeah.
hadn't really broken the media yet, and she was really, really ill.
Mm.
And we think that she caught it then, and we think it's carried over now. So she's had sort of a long COVID for over a year, and she's caught it again. When just after I caught it, I tested positive. Then she tested positive 3 or 4 days later, and it's knocked her back a long way.
Yeah.
Now she's exhausted again, and but yeah, it's just not a good thing to catch,
No.
especially at our age.
Yeah, well, I'm glad I'm double jabbed. I am. So, I was lucky enough. Well, I don't believe I've caught it, although February in 2020, I was very, very poorly for a fortnight, but I just put it down to having flu.
Yeah.
It wasn't really that well known at that time.
Yeah.
But maybe I had it then. But, like I said, we've just been really, really careful. And thankfully, we've been okay. And I've had both my jabs. I got my card, and I'll be going to my first festival in a week or two's time, which is steep.
Marvelous.
Yeah, they are making us do the lateral flow test before we go, which I think is great. I know.
Yeah, I'm with you.
There's people on Facebook complaining about it, and I'm like, no, whatever they want me to do, I'll do. Do you know what I mean? If it means I can see live music, I'm more than happy to go along with everything. So
yeah, I'm with you.
So I can't wait to get out and see some live bands. It'll be awesome. It's going to be great.
I can't wait for you to see some live Forge bands either.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah, I'll keep my eye, because I said I used to be out twice a month, look at watching bands. It was mainly sort of South Wales or Bristol, to be honest. That was kind of like my stomping ground.
Yeah.
Really local to me. And then I go to Planet Rockstock in Treco Bay.
Yeah.
Pretty much every year. And also Steelhouse Festival as well, which are fantastic festivals. And, on a Thursday night there, they have some of the lesser known bands,
Yes.
It'll be good to see some of your guys, being able to get. And then what happens once they've played on the Thursday, a lot of the time, those guys then end up playing on the bigger stages, which is really good.
Absolutely. Oh, yes.
That's what we want.
Yeah.
I'll keep my eye open for the one next May, and we'll pop up the Patriot and see you guys. Are you going?
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
definitely. Yes, I shall definitely be there.
That'll be good.
Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah,
it's been lovely speaking to you guys. Thank you
Yeah,
so much for having me. It's just really nice. I mean, I love to speak about what I do, and the more people that know about it, hopefully, the more bands sort of come into my vision, so I've got greater choice.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, there's lots of them out there that need some help. So long may it continue, and I hope you guys are really successful. And like Terry said, it'd be nice if you could grow and maybe start, 15, 20 bands a year. Do you know what I mean?
Who knows?
Great to see that.
Who knows? Once things have changed a bit, and once we've been established a while, there's no telling what's going to happen.
Yeah, that's fantastic. It's really good.
Nice job for me in my retirement.
Yeah, there you go.
That's it. Terry could be your Dutch arm.
Yeah. Hey, you never know, honestly. I've given up thinking about, it might be a bit daft, because actually if it's a bit daft, chances are it's worth considering. So who knows?
Yeah, like this podcast.
That's it. Yeah. It's just having a laugh, talking to each other.
That's all right. That's the whole point, isn't it? It's great, and people love podcasts.
Yeah, I mean, we're a bit late getting into the game, I guess, but I mean, it's still a growing thing.
Absolutely.
So, hopefully, we're just trying to. I mean, we started off just talking to each other with a view to having like the odd guest on now and again, because we were just going to talk nonsense to each other, which we normally do. And then, it's just turned into like we have guests on. I mean, I'm recording. Well, this week I'm recording 4 days, so we've got guests every day, you know.
Marvelous.
And we're speaking to some really, really nice, genuine people, to be honest, which is really good. So
That's encouraging, isn't it?
yeah. And we've met some great people already. You know, like people like yourself as well, Tina, to be honest.
Well, that's nice to know. Thank you. Very nice.
Yes. So thank you for visiting us today.
An absolute pleasure, gentlemen. Thank you very much for letting me come. And I'm really excited that you're kindly going to speak to my guys as well. So if you need anything in terms of getting in touch with them, just let me know.
Yeah, well, yeah, but a couple of them already. Well, you've already put me in touch with a couple of them. So yeah, we're just planning. I've definitely got Bad Actress in the diary. I'm pretty sure I put another one out. I can't remember which one. The second band that you sent me. But yeah, like I said, we're pretty full now until the end of the month. So
lovely. Well, we're going to be here. You know, just shout.
Yeah, it's no problem. We'll get them all on eventually, and then they'll probably be able to come back around again. I mean,
wonderful. Yeah,
so,
that's what we like. So, you know, some of the guys that we've been speaking to, they're talking about they got an album coming out at some stage.
Right.
So it's nice to get to know them now. And then when their album comes out, we can talk about their album. And, you know, there's a couple of the bands that we'd like to keep coming on because we can, you know, we'll see them grow as well, which is great.
That's really, really good. That's really good. Well, Bad Actress have got an EP that's going to be out in time for the tour. So they'll have plenty to talk about there.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, I mean, I'm just going to ramble a bit now, but I messaged the band the other day and they were like, oh no, we don't want to come on yet. We've got some stuff in the pipeline and we think it'll be better to talk about it in a few months. But I mean, for me personally, I don't know how Dave feels, but I like to talk to a band. I'd like to get them on first, get to know them as people.
Yes.
And then when they do have something to promote, they can always come back on, you know. I think it's a more sincere way of doing things.
Absolutely. And
it's nice to get to know people, build a sort of I mean, it's only an online relationship, but you know, you can talk to them, enjoy their company. And then when they go off and they do their thing, they can always come back and say, oh, look, Ter or Dave, you know, we've got an album or we've got a single, and they can always come back and promote it any time. So
marvelous.
I mean, that's my vision of this podcast, to be honest.
Fantastic. Well, if you watch my news feed, you'll be seeing when everything's on its way, you know, so you can always jump in on them again and you know, pull them out. So
yeah, I mean, like I said, once we've interviewed them or whatever, spoken to, I don't like calling it interviews, to be honest, but once we've spoken to yeah. David interrogates them and I just throw abuse at them. But yeah, once we've spoken to them and, you know, got to know them, then yeah, they're always welcome to come back. So
definitely.
That's smashing. Well, thank you very, very much indeed. And it's been an absolute pleasure to speak to you both. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Tina.
And it's I think the incentive is awesome. It's really, really good, the initiative. I like it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Very good. Okay, thank you, Tina.
Thank you for your support.
Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
There you go. A bit longer than I thought. But that was my story I didn't expect.
Yeah.
Fucking aliens.
Yeah, it was a bit of a weird one, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's a new story as well.
Yeah.
I got it up on my thing then for a minute because I was like, when was this published?
Yeah.
But it was actually published on June the 23rd.
Okay.
So she's sick of men on Earth. Oh, she's an actress, Abby Bella. And she hopes to normalize interspecies dating. Well, we've already got that, haven't we?
Well, I don't know.
It's called bestiality, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not a good thing, is it? And that fella with the doll that he had a relationship with as well.
Oh yeah, he was a mad one, wasn't he?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, he was a bit mad. Him.
We need a contact, so let's get her on. Let's get her. Although she probably won't talk to us because we're fellas.
Oh, I don't know. Well, she might do. I mean, I'm in Holland, so I'm an alien.
Yeah, perhaps she can tell us why she doesn't like the human male species anymore.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I might see if I can find her on the internet.
We could do it. We could bit like Louis Theroux had like a he went around interviewing people, and then he invited them all to his house, and they all had Christmas dinner with him. There was a guy that spoke to aliens. There was a porn star. They were all from different walks of life. Do you know what I mean? And then when you watch them integrating and talking to each other, that was the entertainment bit. Do you know what I mean? And Louis stepped back and let him get on with it. It was great.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that sounds a bit wacky, doesn't it?
Yeah.
All right then, mate. All right then.
All right. Yeah, it was good. I like that. Very good.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, nice. Nice to have something positive.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. It's nice to know that there's people out there to help young bands, isn't there? And
Yeah,
what's positive is there's so many youngsters coming through interested in rock music, which is what's good to me. Because when you go to festivals, Uriah Heep and people like that, when they're on stage, as good as they are, they're in the 70s. So you need the young blood coming through, don't you? So it's nice
yeah.
that it's being supported.
Yeah.
Ruby, excellent. No, we're rambling.
Yeah. Like a bad wedding speech.
That's it.
All right then, mate. Take it easy and I'll see you later.
Yeah, have a good one.
Try.
All right.